communicate? Do you know how to actively listen? Quietly. Allow the other person in that conversation to complete a thought before you respond. In other words, you have to actively be listening and storing away your response and waiting patiently for the other person to finish their thought, to get their point across. And then, instead of breaking in and arguing and breaking off the other person's train of thought, you allow them to complete. Now, what that does is that shows the other person that you have respect for them and that you are listening to what they say. And when you respond, you should respond thoughtfully. Through all of this, when the other person stops speaking, do you just blurt right in? Or do you give it a couple of seconds? Give it a pause. Rethink your response and then respond. And when you respond, make eye contact, maybe not prolonged, but enough to see if the other person is actually listening to you. If they are, or if they are not, try to complete your thought. And this should go back and forth until this conversation is come to an end. So, this is the proper way to communicate. So you don't want to communicate in an anxious manner where you can't wait until the other person finishes what they're saying and you just dive right in. You don't want to be too cautious with your response. You want it to be thoughtful, but you want it to be precise, or at least an answer to what the other person has asked, if that's what part of the conversation is, if it's a question. And you don't want to come off too loud. How should I respond here? Should I come off as though I'm yelling at this person? Maybe that might make them back off or turn away. If it's something you really, really feel strongly about, you might want to give it an extra pause before you respond. Because then you tend to do these things. And some people don't like it when you do these things. You got that, right? So, conversations, active listening, pauses, non-anxious responses. Not too long, but not too short of a pause and reflection between the intake and the delivery.